It being roughly 6 p.m., let's call the Monday, August 10th, 2020 Leisure Services Advisory Board meeting to order. In spite of not having a quorum, we will rise, and Mr. Jackson, our teen applicant, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes, sir, I would love to. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic of which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. All right. It is good to see everyone.
Want me up there so they can see me on the video or not?
Yeah, go ahead, if you don't mind.
I don't mind. I mean, I've got enough here I can shift fairly quickly. Sounds good.
Man, presto chango, look at you.
And who is Ken LaCroix? Is that a new board member?
Yes,
He,
yes.
he interviewed with me last
Yeah,
time.
he interviewed with Amber.
Oh, okay.
Pam, might you have anything as a citizen here for the open forum?
I don't.
Okay. So, lacking any citizens for the open forum section, we will move on to the approval of minutes from our February meeting, the last time we met. I would just like to point out on page 2 that Anne has made note of the correct spelling of Ken LaCroix. If you'll note that, I'm glad that he knows how to spell Ken. Or Ann does. Just a little point of humor there, Amber. Okay. Any comments about the Suda?
Can we do it? Motion to approve? I can't do any of that. Okay, nope, I don't have any comments towards it except for my question about Ken. Have we met him yet, or
We did.
was he here? And
Yes.
it's been so long, I don't remember.
Yeah, so Ken was here at that meeting.
At February, I guess, right?
Right.
That's why, it's just been a long time.
And since we don't have a quorum, you can discuss and everything, but these minutes will come back at the next meeting amended to be presented for approval.
Great, okay.
We need 4 members present. This is very rare. And at the, we had Ken and Amber here, and they went before City Council, I believe.
That's right, it was when Amber was here as well. I remember now,
March.
yes, thank
I think they
you.
went before City Council in March.
That's correct.
And I happened to be there that meeting, and I said to both Ken and Amber, tell the City Council that we gave them a hard time during their interview. And Ken was rather neutral. Amber, I think, won an Emmy.
Did she for us?
Got
Okay.
up and said, they grilled me for 2 hours.
Good, Miss Amber, all right.
It was a command
She
performance.
comes from a good acting family, let me tell you.
It was a good performance. So the minutes are in limbo, right, Ann?
Held for next time.
Held for next time. Okay. So, and we can still go through with the interview. We have 2 teens that are supposed to be here. Haley is not here, and Mr. Jackson is here. So this is Jackson Settle. Jackson, come up to the grilling station there. And if you have a sheet there, Amber, about, right? We have a sheet about
We have a
Jackson
sheet
here.
about,
Nice comments there, relevant skills and any other information, well stated. Suda or Amber, we have not, Amber, had
Jackson and Taylor,
had
okay.
teen members on our board for, how many years, Ann? 3, 4? And I'd like to challenge us on the board here to get these folks involved somehow, as much as we can, rather than just having them sit here. You know, I think that was partially our fault that they
That was one of the things we suggested
That they
towards
left,
the end.
yes,
That we
yes.
needed to find
put
ways
up
to
with
get them
us for a
involved.
long time, but. So, Mr. Jackson, give us your thumbnail about being interested in the leisure services. Let me just read before you start, from our bylaws, and I'm sure Amber has this memorized, but the primary duty of the Leisure Services Advisory Board is to advise City Council and the city manager or their designee as to the interpretation of community needs and desires as to the types of leisure programs, parks, recreation, and facilities that we, the citizens, would like to see the city have. And we always have representation from the Leisure Services Board. Well represented tonight. So, Mr. Jackson,
Yes, sir.
welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I really love the idea of leisure services because this board is one of the really good reasons why people want to move here. Leisure services is our parks, our recreation centers, our basketball courts, our playgrounds. This is where people can have fun and where people can exercise and be healthy and stay healthy. And I've been here and I've lived here since I was 3 years old, and I've enjoyed every single minute of living here. And I want to be here so that I can help others in this community and I can help make Oldsmar a better city.
Great. Chip and Brent, I hope you sign him up for the latest news media blip on leisure services. That was great.
And one more thing.
Yes.
This would be a wonderful starter for me because I want to be in leadership roles and I want to help my community and I want to just help everyone. I want to change the world, and this would be a wonderful starter for me.
Great answers. Great
Excellent.
answers. Well presented.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Questions?
Any?
Have you done any projects in school that have helped with your leadership growth that you feel like you could bring here?
Yes, ma'am. I have helped with the Humane Society of Pinellas, and I have been going to some parks, and this is going to be one of my first major roles in leadership. But I have been into parks, and I've been here a long time, and I have seen things that I've wanted to help and make better. I've been to your events, and I really want to help.
Great.
Do you have a favorite event that you liked? Or?
Not really. I love every single event. I love it when people have fun and everyone can come together.
I know that Jackson comes from a family that is involved because I am honored to serve with Pam on the Ordinance Review Committee. So he comes
Sorry
from
for
a
chapter
family of
42.
involvement.
No, it's
May I? Mr. Jackson, great. Have you been involved or gotten in any of the community programs in either the parks, recreation, when he was little? Great.
Yes, when I was little.
Well, you know, I'm going to be sending you a flyer because leisure services also includes art, and Miss Suda handles the theater for our group, and I see a theater student out there in front of me.
I love acting.
Yes, okay. That is something you'll hear from me regularly. I am probably one of the oldest pushing for the arts people that we still have involved with our community. I think we've done a great job with our new staff that has come on in the past couple of years. And that will be my question for you basically is, you know, how do you see the arts? Have you done any crafts, or you enjoy crafts, you enjoy theater, you enjoy things like that, and would like to see that more. My second question for you is, we're looking for ways to keep you involved on the board. This is one of the things I brought to the board some time ago, saying that we needed to find projects that you guys could actually even help us with, whether it's going to a park and giving us a review, or you know, coming up to an event and kind of giving some feedback on some of the things that we saw. So that's what I'm hoping, is that we can get our teens involved in the board meeting with us
Well,
as well.
definitely. I would love to be involved. I'm going into 9th grade, and I'm going to start needing some volunteer points to get into college. And this would be perfect for me. I would love to help. I love helping everyone. And yes, I would totally be in. I love the arts. I love everything about it. I'm creative, and I'd love to do it. Yes.
You already had your audition with me. You're signed up. And I believe, Chip and Brent, if I'm not misspeaking, the city of Oldsmar is set up and established to be able to give the points for students needing them for school and stuff. I'm not using the right terminology, so I apologize. Credits for...
Bright futures.
Thank you. So that's great, and anywhere, any aspect that you're working with us, you can get those credits and stuff too.
Yes,
So
ma'am,
that's great.
definitely.
Wonderful.
And a really special thing is that Oldsmar was basically invented by the Oldsmobile. Here, the creator of the Oldsmobile stayed here. And isn't that amazing? It's one of the first, most big car enterprises.
I'm telling you guys, you got to sign him up for blurbs on the TV. I don't care what you do. Great job.
And
Thank
yes,
you.
very special. Yes, I do sing.
You and I will be definitely talking.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
We're doing it Latin Junior when we can all come back together. We'll talk about that too.
Awesome.
What do you think your main role would be as a teen member of our board?
Well, everything. I would love to bring up any issues that I've seen. I would go to your different events and see if there was anything wrong and if I would see anything that we could keep up. And I'll just definitely keep an eye around on how to make everything here better.
I love it.
I'm going to get him to wear the T-shirt of, I think Robert Kennedy used it campaigning. We remember Robert Kennedy. I think it was actually a quote from George Bernard Shaw, but some people say why. They see things and they say why. I think Jackson sees things and he says, why not?
Yes, I think that's great. That's great. Excellent, Jackson.
So we can't recommend Ann to send Jackson to city council, or?
Right, you cannot take action tonight, but since Jackson has come here for the interview and he has been introduced to the board, I can still put him forward to council as a recommendation to fill a position. And for the other applicant who did not show up tonight, we can ask her to come back at the November meeting.
Okay. We don't have to vote or anything?
No,
Okay.
no vote, no.
See, you got off easy.
So I would tell you, Jackson, look at things that we want to keep teens involved. We want to know the city of Oldsmar from a teens aspect. Okay.
Yes.
You know, we had a skateboard park at one time. We don't now. I mean, there's different things that have gone on and happened that didn't work or did work. But for me, I've always wanted to get the teens involved, telling us what do the teens need from Oldsmar, because teens are a tough age for a lot of kids. Sometimes they can go the wrong direction, and we hope to help give them things to send them in the right direction. So.
And that's the thing. There are not many programs to help teens, and they're stuck being on their devices. And I totally get it because I'm one. But yeah, if I can get here or get in the board and help, I would definitely get some teens involved and find some good projects for us to do.
That would be great. I think we have the staff that supports it 100%, and we have the setup now once we come back, of course, from this craziness that we're going into, or that we're in the middle of, or towards hopefully the end of. I really will look forward to hearing what you think might be more fun for teens, what would be better for teens to do, what's missing for teens. I know we used to have theater program where we had the young kids, then we had the teens, and then we had the adults. So even things like that of programs that we have, but maybe more of a split out for teens, I'd love to hear your aspect and your views on that in the
Definitely.
future. Great.
Yes, ma'am.
Amber, anything else?
No, I'm good. Thank you
Okay,
for
your
being
first
here.
assignment, knock them dead at city council.
There you go.
Sure.
You will.
Thank you, Jackson.
Thank you very much. Well done. Good job.
Okay, Amber, I trust you have been getting already the monthly reports?
I have, sir.
Okay, so Chip, anything
Okay.
more monthly?
What I'll do is I'm just going to highlight some of the things that were in your monthly reports already, but some more of the notable things that we've accomplished, and it's been a while. So some of the highlights that I wanted to mention are we installed new bollards along Shore Drive at Ari Olds Park. If you haven't seen that yet, they're nice, nicely stained and uniform, and really we've received some comments from citizens as well that it really changes the park. It makes it look really nice. We did have a Sunset Sounds in February, which was, right before we went into the shutdown mode. We had 120 in attendance. That was after the February board meeting. Then, we jumped into March, and things really got squirrely. Closed down because of COVID-19, obviously. Staff had to kind of reprogram themselves in a sense. We did a lot of online training, a lot of Microsoft office, our ICS training for disaster training. Some staff took some online grant writing classes. We utilized the recreation staff to help sanitize the parks, the picnic tables, the benches. We had a free lunch program that we ran out of State Street Center. We had our parks and facility staff rotated shifts. They'd have a 3 on, 2 off during the week, and then a 2 on, 3 off the following week. So we rotated on limited staff here while we were in that mode. And then the recreation staff did their summer planning. We did hold summer camp this year, so that's been a success so far, with modifications, obviously, and I'll kind of mention that as I get down my list a little bit. You know, when that first came around, we closed our parks for the most. Well, the parks were open, but we closed down the amenities within the parks. We shut down the playgrounds, the basketball, the tennis, the pickleball. So, really went into a very awkward mode because our job is to provide these activities and not take them away. So it's a very difficult time. We did have special event cancellations. We had a hockey tournament that was canceled. The Sunset Sounds was canceled. The Easter egg hunt, the breakfast with the bunny. We had no field rentals going on, no classroom or shelter rentals taking place. We did not have a true Memorial Day ceremony, although we did take the opportunity to place a wreath that morning.
I saw that. That was
out
nice.
at the park because we still wanted to recognize. The spring recital was canceled. Aladdin Jr.'s been pushed back.
Postponed.
When I said that, I was good. Yeah, spring recital has been postponed along with Aladdin Jr. The golf tournament was canceled. Some of the things that we did, maybe you noticed this, we first installed these Memorial Day. We purchased 25 American flags with flag stands, and we were putting them up on Memorial Day, we put them up on Labor Day, 4th of July. And if you had a chance to see it, I don't know if you saw it, it looks really, really nice as you come around the curve here.
I'm on a Facebook with like Mayor helping put them up or something, I remember.
Yeah, right out here on the other side of City Hall. As I mentioned, we had summer camp this year. We've averaged about 55 campers between the 2 sessions, so 55 per week.
Against normally?
75.
Not too bad.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
We modified our operations. We added an additional camp leader, limited the groups to 14. Staff wear masks. Parents are not, when I say parents are not allowed in the building, we had to give them somewhere to sign in so they would initially be able to walk in the front door. And right when you walk in the front door, there's maybe a 3-foot space where they would sign in at the table, but they couldn't stay. They weren't allowed in any other access part of the building. So staff did a really good, I'm really, really impressed with Bryn and her staff for making these modifications. It sounds like it could be easy to just, okay, we're just gonna modify summer camp. What does that mean? I mean, summer camp is a beast, and it's hard enough to run under a normal operation, but when you start throwing in group sizes and sanitation efforts and rotations from room to room, and so it's a very challenging thing to do. When we did our rotations, we had a staff person who was assigned all day as a disinfector, a cleaner. So they would go around every hour, spray the bathrooms. They would wipe down the rooms after the children left for a rotation. So when the next group came in, it was sanitized. So put a lot of thought and effort into not only the plans, but the facility itself as well. We did return to some programming recently with social distancing in place. We have yoga, chair yoga, and painting taking place over at State Street Center. During the summer, we have not run any programs out of Cypress while summer camp is in session. Basically, Cypress opens up at 7 in the morning. It closes at 6. It's sanitized. It opens up the next morning at 7. Goes again till 6. We didn't have any other programming because we didn't want to have the possibility of cross-contamination and the kids coming in and out. Let's see. We look at adding more programming after camp ends on August 21st. Some other things of note, we have an agreement in place now with the Oldsmar Organic Community Garden. That's an annual agreement that we've
Oh,
been working
good,
on.
good.
Yes.
Yeah, that's been a long time coming. Great. Glad you guys got that straightened out.
Got that straightened out. I had made a comment earlier. We made numerous recommendations and updates to the Code of Ordinance, Chapter 42. Bryn and Alexis and Jason Conklin were on that team together. The four of us, we thought we put together a very thorough document.
Have you been invited yet to our next meeting?
Yes.
Okay, there you go, Pam.
But
They'll be represented.
Yep. So, I think the team did a good job of kind of capturing what we thought was important. So we're looking forward to meeting with the review board there. Let's see. We worked with our leagues and our rental groups on return to play plans because one of the first things we kind of opened up, or as we opened up, was the ball fields with soccer and baseball and the football fields. So it wasn't just a matter of, all right, guys, here's the keys, go open, let's go play. There was following CDC guidelines, we required each group, and I kind of mentioned that in my learning moment here, but each group had to submit a return to play plan before they could go out onto the fields. And I'll get into that a little bit later like I said. That's all I have on highlights for the month, out of the monthly reports.
And just confirming, I see we got March, April, May, June, no July yet, correct? Or did I overlook it in my notes?
July, I just got on my desk today.
No problem. I just want to make sure I didn't miss something on an email. That's
Yep.
why. No
Usually,
problem.
our goal is to get that out by the middle of the month to the end of the month. It's
Sure,
just a
no
matter
problem.
of
Just want to
making
make sure I didn't miss something on looking at the emails.
Nope.
Great.
Nope, you're good.
Thank
Can I
you,
ask a
Chip.
question about upcoming events?
That's coming up
Okay.
on the agenda, yeah. So, project updates.
Project updates. Okay.
Speaking of which, what's the BMX status?
So the design criteria package, the RFP is out. So that's out on the street. It's due back September 22nd. And
RP is request for,
request for proposal.
thank you. Just want
Sorry.
to make sure I knew our shortcuts.
Yes, there you go. So that is out on the streets. We'll wait to get those back. Once we get those back, we take about a month to review, and then we have our meeting in October to discuss, and then get somebody on board to help us get that thing taken care of.
So October is a shoot date for making some decisions.
Yeah, I brought a copy. Yeah. Where'd it go? I put it in my book here. Yeah, the schedule is September 22nd. Solicitations are due. Evaluation committee meeting is October 23rd, and then anticipated award of contract by city council on November 3rd.
Okay, so on our November meeting, we can grill him again.
You got it. Put that at the top, Sue. Put that at the top. Yes.
So actually, that was the top of my list for project updates was BMX.
Great.
Since our last meeting, we received notification that we received a grant for the Oldsmar Sports Complex, the baseball and softball side of the facility. It's a matching grant, so it's $200,000 from the state and $200,000 from the city, and we'll look at improving the baseball fields and the concession stand with that. That's our goal there. The spray park, we received design drawings from a vendor last week, and I just got off the phone with him. I tried to call him, we were emailing. I just got off the phone. I left a message with the installer to try to get a price. We're waiting on a price from the installer so we can figure out what our budget's like. But anyway, we did receive design drawings last week, and they are really cool. It's a wetland-themed kind of spray park, so there's an alligator, and we want to put dumping buckets, and there's little water shooters and rocks and that squirt and
Is
frogs.
this replacing or adding to?
This will replace. It'll be a total replacement.
Okay, that's what I wanted to double check. Thank
Yep,
you.
total replacement. We replaced the fencing at the sports complex, which that was a big project. We resurfaced the basketball court at Richard Rogers Park, and Sheffield should be done this week, and hopefully finished by next week. And then we'll be reinstalling the other additional backboards that haven't been put up yet that we took down when the COVID crisis hit, because some of them were rusty and bent, and so we just figured we'd replace them new. So that'll be done as well.
Good.
The All Wars Monument is going in at Veterans Memorial Park. It's on order. The pad is complete and awaiting the arrival of the memorial.
Okay.
What does that entail, Chip?
Which one, the All Wars?
Yes.
It recognizes those who have served and fought in all of the wars. So it lists each of the wars and
And a new,
conflict.
and a
or
new
conflict.
event on your list coming up.
No, we talked about it, and
Not
it'll
yet,
roll
anyways.
into Veterans Day is when
Okay.
we'll kind of release, introduce that.
Great.
Let's see, new kayak trail signs are being made, and then they'll be installed. We're replacing the old signs that are out there. Staff have worked with FWC on the regulations on how we install them and everything, so.
Is there
there's-
any kayak rentals going yet? I know there was some talk some time ago about the zip line group handling
They
them.
started, and then, of course, with the
COVID.
COVID, they haven't resumed.
Okay,
the-
because we were looking, to be honest with you, we were looking for somewhere to rent and go out on the water recently.
And they're only doing paddle boards at this time.
Okay.
So it's paddleboard tours.
Okay,
so-
all right.
Let's see, we have a park sidewalk repair schedule in place for cracks in sidewalks. Alexis has that. So you'll be seeing some repairs to sidewalks throughout all of our parks.
Great.
Let's see, the emergency trail marker project, Jason Conklin is working on that project. He has installed the emergency trail markers, which are basically placards that are on the ground, which if you call 911, it says, an emergency
Can
call
use that
911.
number.
Yeah, HP 001 would be Harbor Palm 001, and they can kind of pinpoint your location.
Good.
Because there's no cross streets on the trail where you can say,
Right.
oh, I'm at State Street and 580.
Yeah,
Okay,
right. And then take a left at the big
Yeah.
oak, right?
Take a left at the Oak, I'm down the street. Yeah, that
Right.
kind of-
That's
So,
good. That's safety measures that are good.
So he was just out in the backyard today staining the posts for the markers that will go into the Mobley Bayou area, since that's on a shell trail. And we installed a lightning detection system at the Oldsmar Sports Complex, which is up and active now. So basically, what it does is if there's lightning within 10 miles, so there's a setting, like on a typical night like tonight, it's activated from 5:30 until 9 o'clock when people are out there. So if there's lightning within 10 miles, a horn goes off, and there's a strobe light that flashes. Okay, so the horn stops, and that strobe light continues to flash for 30 minutes, 29 minutes, 28, until
Gotcha.
if there's another strike, then it resets at 30 minutes. But
Oh,
the horn
okay.
doesn't go off again, but the timer keeps that light on for 30 minutes.
Keep an eye on that lightning for the protection of the
Yep.
players out
And then
there.
once
sure.
it's been gone for 30 minutes, then 3 short blasts or 3 blasts from the horn, and then that kind of tells everybody you can come back out onto the fields.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah. And that's kind of my project update highlights.
Good, I got a question then.
Okay.
The artist that was chosen for the $40,000 project, where are we at with that?
The wings?
Yeah, the wings.
Yes. Well, I can say the artist is in the process of creating that project, that art piece, and then Alexis has he's getting a permit for the slab, which is going out here on the grassy area by the oak tree.
Okay, out here behind council chambers, so
Yeah,
to
right
speak?
over here.
Oh, okay,
Right,
that's
so-
nice, all right.
When do we anticipate the pad being poured?
As soon as the permit is approved.
It's in the permitting process right
Okay,
now.
all
So
right.
we
And then
did- we-
she's still got to build the wings or whatever? She's still got to do all the artwork, or has that part been done and it's close to finishing once the slabs?
He's pretty close to finishing the wings. The email I saw earlier today is that he would have it done by the end of this month.
Great,
August.
okay.
So we hope the time will be in time to be able to.
All right, hopefully we'll have some sort of a nice little kickoff or event or something that can kind of promote that, just share with people and have a few of our council members down there to get pictures with wings and such, so
Yes.
that's great. I don't know if this is a project updates, but I do have one more, Ken, sorry. Wasn't asking permission properly. The railings down at R.E. Olds Park on the front of the stage were missing for some time. I'm hoping they're going away permanently, but I'm probably not that lucky.
No, I'm looking at a more, trying to figure out a more permanent structure than just, the rails there are aluminum, they attach to they just attach
And
surface
the
level.
boys skateboard on them. I've
Skate on
watched,
'em,
actually, I
right.
felt like one of the old ladies when I had to go tell them they couldn't jump up there with their boards, and they said, this is what we do, and I said, you have no clue what my history is. I ran a skateboard park for 10 years, so I get it, okay? But destruction of property is another issue, you know? Yeah, I was kind of hoping they're going away, or whatever new you put in can disappear for a show so that Not every child ends up standing behind a railing that's 4 feet tall on the stage, or the bands, or the theater,
Yeah.
or anybody that uses it. And the only ones I
Except for
think
some of the kids.
that weren't aware of that would be those that suggested it didn't think that through when they looked at doing steps right on the front, so. And there's no legalities that we can get around. We do have to have, you guys have all triple checked and everything,
height.
make sure nothing's changed, okay. Take them out, sorry.
Thanks, Chip.
Thank you,
Amber,
Joe.
did you have we're on to upcoming events now. Amber, did you have?
I wanted to know where we are in the upcoming events for October through December.
Yeah, so right now, the next event, or the first event, would be October the 3rd. That would be Celebrate Oldsmar. I know that I've heard that the city manager is going to have a discussion with council, let them have a go at it to make a decision, because we are getting close and there are certain things we still have to plan as if it's going to happen. But I think that meeting is next, let me see.
And I have something I want to add to that.
I think it's on the
With Suda, too.
19th. I want to say they're have a discussion on the 19th from.
And are we still trying to carry through with having a board member present on some of these meetings and
Yes,
stuff?
yeah,
So-
once we get back and figure out how we're going to approach it, some of the later events, like in the smaller events, like Haunted Happenings, Veterans Day, the Sunset Sounds, Christmas Wonderland, we had a discussion last week, and I checked around to some other cities, but they're all going to be looked at, and they'll have to be modified. So
Yep.
like, for example, we were shooting around the idea with Haunted Happenings, instead of doing a normal Haunted Happenings over at the Environmental Education Center, is that maybe we have a trick-or-treat drive-through trail, or trick-or-treat drive-through over at the sports complex on Winter's Way, and parents and families can drive through. We'll still have our vendors that are out there with tents, gloves and masks, and they can at least drive through and put a piece of candy in or something. We haven't figured out all the details yet, but that's kind of what we were brainstorming.
Sure, another one for social distancing and stretching things out is you've got a beautiful track over in that same park that one time we had talked about putting the haunted house and haunted happenings around that track so that groups could be far spread out, and then they would just walk the track for different tents or games or, whatever. So just definitely keep that in mind also, because that's haunted house right back through that place would be a lot of fun because it's creepy at night over there.
Yes.
If we have ideas about that, should we shoot them to you or Bryn, or what's
Yeah,
the
you
best
could
way?
probably Bryn's going to be heading up the events, so if you wanted to shoot some ideas to Bryn, that would be fine.
And of course, Brent, if we go through with haunted happenings, you always know you got me, so.
Can I go back to Celebrate Oldsmar?
Sure.
And this might interest Suda too. If you need entertainment, possibly Aladdin Jr. could be on stage, if that's a possibility.
At Celebrate, our biggest challenge with Celebrate, I mean, we're coming up, almost, we were, 60 days we were talking about, so we're at 50 days now? We're 50 days out roughly. Doing an event like that and social distancing people where you have music and groups and gatherings, it's just going to
Here's
be
what I would
almost...
suggest for consideration, if you don't mind. October, we're choosing a new show. So we're supposed to be done with ours by October. Aladdin should be done in September at the end, we're hoping. So if that's the way it rolls, maybe a little 5-minute segment of a little piece of the next skit or something. If you guys can keep us in mind for that. Same with, of course, the dancers. I'm not talking, I agree with you trying to incorporate the full show with the event, although it would be great for our groups to get that kind of coverage. I'm sure that's going to be difficult to do for you guys with the bands and everything else that are required and necessary, but definitely keep our two groups in mind for a little 5-minute plugs or set change plugs or something like that. Where either the theater can come out and just do a little skit helping advertise the next one coming up that would be in theory in January. And, and then, of course, the community table based on our guidelines. And Amber, I'll be asking you to help at that also, that the city has been kind enough to honor us with having a community table at all our events now so that we can set out postcards and give beads away and stuff like that. So
Certainly.
Any other
thank you.
With
upcoming?
upcoming, well, they do have something with spacecraft
Yeah, update us on spacecraft, because I was,
I feel like my family's the only family that's been going, and they need volunteers.
They did
and Jack.
they needed volunteers. They did a kind of a soft rollout instead of doing the big launch. It's more of a soft rollout that they've done. They're doing their programming on Tuesday and Thursday evenings, not the
Right.
Wednesdays and Saturdays as original. I know that they have the information up on their website. I know that we've got it on our social media as well. So
and how long do they intend, because of the COVID, to leave it
they are
there?
into.
I would
think it
assume
was
they've got a
12
new
weeks.
set of, how long it's going to be there before it moves to the next location type of thing.
Yeah, I believe it was 12 weeks if I'm not mistaken.
Okay,
So
all right.
But they need some help.
Yeah, I was slated to help originally, and with the COVID, it shut down, and I
Right.
haven't reached out again. Me having asthma and living with my 82-year-old mom, I tend to keep those options in the back burner for right now until we start seeing more of a decline, although I do understand 2 of my dancers' parents work at Meese Hospital on the front lines, countryside, and they went to 4 COVID floors. They had 1. They ended up at 4 COVID floors, like 40 beds apiece. She said, of course, they're seeing a lot more deaths, unfortunately, but they are seeing a decrease on what's coming in. So she feels like they're actually seeing a turn. And I kidded her, show in August, and she's like, show in September? Okay. So I trust our nurses on the front lines more than I listen to the news, and I try to get that information direct to see where we're at with things, so.
Because isn't there someone that's part of Oldsmar Rocks? They wanted that person to help.
Gina?
Okay,
Yeah.
but she's not here. Okay.
Not here today. No. And they,
Yeah, the van trips, they kind of
no,
X'd.
yeah, no, really no senior programming right now, and that's kind of common that you'll find.
Anything else under?
Oh, the last thing on upcoming events is on September the 19th, Saturday, September 19th, we have our first tree giveaway. We'll be doing that at the Municipal Services Center. And if
Christmas tree or plant a tree?
plant a tree.
Plant a tree, okay,
Yeah.
good.
There's a number of varieties of
Walmart
trees.
suited with the Christmas tree?
It's about that time, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a variety of trees that we'll be giving away. Any Oldsmar resident who, it's first come, first served, an Oldsmar resident can come by and pick up 2 trees of their choice, showing driver's license and a utility bill. And so we're looking forward to that one.
Plant those on local property and not in your easements, correct?
Right.
One
And that's all I
more
have for
question. I
project.
have one more, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Is the toddler playgroup, was that still going on, or was that suspended?
What was that?
The toddler playgroup at State Street?
The only thing that's going on right now at State Street is the chair yoga, the yoga, and what was the other one?
Okay, I just wanted to double check.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
I would like to add in on upcoming events. As we mentioned, we're hoping ideally, again, everything's to be determined, mid-September for the dance recital, Saturday. I don't have a calendar in front of me, but you can figure the second weekend type of thing. And the last Saturday in September for Aladdin Jr., again, fingers crossed on everything. We have been speaking with Chip about doing both of these shows out at the park on the stage, where social distancing will be a little easier for families. We know our biggest challenge we're up against is our dance pulls in 100 people and our theater pulls in over 200. So we are up against those numbers, so we have to get into phase 3. I have spoken with all the parents of the dancers and theater. They all agree they'd rather wait and have a full audience than try to do something shorter or in piecemeal or on different times or anything like that. I think most of you are aware, I was very blessed the week after we shut down to run Opal Theater and Miss Suda's Dancers online. We were featured on Bay News 9. I'm very honored to do so. And actually, Bay News 9 said when we get ready to do our Aladdin show, they want to know about it. They'd like to come back out and cover us for how we made it through COVID. We are also blessed, I think, to an extent right now. I'm getting new students in the theater. There was a theater that had to shut down over Safety Harbor Way. And some of them knew our students, and we've got 2 new ones, one that started Saturday, one that's coming in. It's online with Zoom, okay, so all of our classes are online right now, and my dance is as well. Kids are doing very well with it. And with the dance, we've actually rolled into summer camp. So it got them off of doing the same dances they've been doing all year, and it gave them new dances for summertime and things like that. So that helps switch it up a lot. And I just can't tell you guys how proud I am of these kids. I mean, if you go on our Facebook and you see these smiling faces every week, they are there. I had one, Eric plays one of our lead roles. He was camping and he was online listening in, and they took a picture of him and sent it to him. Holly, who is only 4 or 5? 4, says lines better than most of the adults do. And is there with her dad, and her dad is a blessing, playing our Sultan. So I can't brag enough about these kids. They are dedicated, they stick with it, they come to rehearsals, and I am just so proud of them. I have to brag every chance I get, so thank you.
That's good.
And when we all can come back, hopefully in September, fingers crossed, we will be back at the rec center and going back into some normal hours and things like that. So, thank you.
Anything else, Amber? No. Okay. All right, one of the things that I think we always look forward to at our meetings is our leisure services learning moment.
The learning moment.
Attention, Jackson, there'll be a quiz on this. Just kidding.
So kind of, I mentioned a little bit earlier, just I guess it's relevant because you may have been asking yourselves, like, how do we get back to our programming? How do we get people back on our fields and players out into keep the kids active? And kind of the learning moment here is that, when the COVID hit, we started making plans, and it seemed like every day we made a plan, it would change the next day based on what was taking place. It was, I guess I just got tired of rewriting plans. It was just, it was crazy. But, as things kind of settled, and then the governor, had released summer camps and youth sports for competition, for participation, that kind of opened the door for us to get people back out onto the fields out at Sheffield and out at the sports complex. So sports kind of crosses over sometimes from city to city. You'll have, in Oldsmar, we have our teams who play our teams with inside of Oldsmar, but then they also have teams who play teams in Clearwater or Countryside, in Clearwater and Countryside and Safety Harbor and all the other locations as well. So we work together with the other cities to develop a checklist of precautions that the league and the rental groups would have to do if they wanted to come back and play on our fields. And these were based off of CDC guidelines and recommendations. So the groups were asked to develop the plan that they would implement. Had things like physical distancing, no shared equipment. When players come in, the coaches are to ask, have you been around anybody that has experienced these symptoms? Have you been exposed? Do you have or the parents, do they have a fever? Have they just the general questions that are asked, do they have a cough? Do they have, any symptoms? So that, and then, players aren't allowed to give high fives. The coaches and the leagues are responsible to keep a roster of who was at practice that day in case we needed to do contact tracing through the health department. Kids weren't allowed to spit, because that's just typical stuff that, so anyway, these groups developed a plan, they turned them in, and we reviewed them, and ultimately, we sent most of them back and said, okay, good first go, let's go ahead and hit this area. How are you going to handle this? Or here's some suggestions for you to handle this. So, and nobody was permitted to use the fields, or we wouldn't rent to them or release them to the groups until the plan was approved. The boards and the renters are responsible for making sure that what they put down on the paper is followed. So far, it's been good. I can say that the 3 sports organizations that we have, Oldsmar Little League, Oldsmar Youth Soccer, and the North Pinellas Panthers football, have been wonderful, 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 wonderful. We have very good open communication. Sometimes they're taking this very seriously, and the plans that they put in place, it kind of exceeded my expectations. And in some instances, it was, they exceeded, like I said, what we may have required.
Right,
so
great.
that's how we kind of got all of the how we got the players and we got our rental groups back out onto the field. So as we go through this, through this pandemic, it's taught us a lot of different things, about operational procedures and, safety and, so, but I must, like I said, I have to commend all of the groups have done a great job preparing and implementing these safety measures. So That's
We
kind of
need-
the learning moment, just to see how we
Sure.
kind of got back onto the fields.
Will you need me to do something like that for Miss Suda's dancers and for Opal Theater when we do resume in the building? Or or we're getting past needing that point? Or you know enough about us, or what?
Well, there'll be guidelines,
Because we're
for,
we're on August, September, in theory, hopefully, first week or two at the max, we're hoping to go back to the classes.
right.
So
So-
you guys keep me posted if I
Yeah,
have
we'll
to.
work together with each of our instructors. I don't think, since we pretty much control the activity there on site,
Right,
we'll be there to be, we'll work with you on, hey, these are the expectations on spacing, these are the expectations on this, no parents are allowed here, or whatever those
Right.
turn out to be.
Okay.
And then we'll work on those together.
All right,
Whereas
sounds
the
good.
groups are kind of on their own, independent.
right, gotcha, okay, good.
Thank you, Chip.
Okay?
New business? Anybody?
No, mine's all old business.
Amber?
Just old questions on updates, which
All
Chip
right.
already
Do
answered.
you have to leave, Suda?
Yeah, I'm gonna roll real quick here. Mr.
board
Zach's
comment?
running my class for
Want to
me.
give your board comments?
Yes, thank you. The railing at the stage, I already got. Chip, just a bug in your ear reminding you about hopefully sometime in the future reopening the parking spaces at the rec center that were closed off by Mr. Reeves a couple of years ago that took away 5 important front row spaces. Flooring at the rec center, anything happened with that? Or did we put that on hold? You guys were-
Done.
It's done? Okay, because we were gonna do some input for me, but then COVID hit and yada, yada. Great. Open the dance status. Friends of the Arts. Some of you know about this, some of you don't. The families that work with me on raising money for Opal Theater to help us pay for these higher-end props and costumes and such have formed an official group called Friends of the Arts. We are on the final stages of our bylaws being approved by the federal government. We have everything else in place. And so you guys will start hearing more and more about Friends of the Arts and their mission to help cover the costs so that we can keep our costs down for the students enrolled in the program. I didn't want to do like Tarpon does and have to charge everybody $100 a month, and we've been able to keep it at $50 a month by trying to help raise money elsewhere as well. And just a reminder, this was for Bryn, so somebody can make a note about it. I offered a free ceramics class at the rec center for employees. Of course, we hit COVID, but afterwards, that still stands. None of the employees I spoke to had heard about it yet, and it may have just been the wrong timing, but please keep it in mind. And November would be talent show. Did we decide to do any dates or just hold off on that?
There is a date in the book, I just can't remember
I'll
off the top
check
of my
on it,
head.
no problem. I'll call him over there, or call Leonard or something. So Leonard will be handling the talent show.
Yep.
All right, great. Thank you.
Thank you, Suda. Amber, any board comments?
No, not at this time.
Okay. The trail challenge idea, pretty good idea. Aware of that? Pretty neat idea.
Yeah.
Like the signage. At Sheffield Park, Alexis, the bulletin board that used to be like by the mural, that disappear, the little bulletin. Had some comments from residents that there used to be a bulletin board out there, glass enclosed,
Right.
by the first shelter there when you,
We've removed most of those
Okay.
because once information's in there, if it's on paper and it just has to be updated, and if it's not updated, then it doesn't make sense for it to be in there, so we have removed
we're more digital.
more digital.
We need to request digital boards for those areas, right?
Yeah, yeah. A few people have requested or suggested, at the end of the trail coming down the canal before you turn into Sheffield, where it kind of loops there, could there be like a bus stop type facility, like a little shelter type bench? Just an idea.
That was, okay.
Where the paving ends, maybe
Right.
even, or at that tee there for the disc golf, the tee that's out there along the canal. Some of the walkers have asked about it because we're old. What can I tell you? Just a thought, see what, okay. Anything, you're good?
I'm all set. I hated, because I knew we were close, so I'm going to go ahead and
Oh,
slip
yeah,
out.
okay. Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for allowing me
Thanks,
to
Suda.
leave a
Thank
few
you.
minutes early.
Okay. That it, Amber?
I
Okay.
believe so, yes.
So do we have to make a motion for adjournment, or we just adjourn?
You can just go ahead and adjourn because there's no action.
We shall
Suda.
adjourn
We'll
the
talk to you soon.
meeting at 6:55. Thank you.